Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we are going to learn how to create our first Java program that has a graphical user interface. Some of you by now could be aware of how to create a Java program that is running on a console. Others could be not aware of how to create Java programs. In this video, we are basically going to see how now do you utilize graphical user interfaces and how do you create programs that have to work with graphical user interfaces. So to start with, we go to File and we create a new project. Then select Java here, then Java application. If you're using latest versions of Netbeans, you can select Java with Maven. Then you click Next. Over here, you come and name your application. You come here and you give it a name. In this case, I can just give it a name like Java 2030 or 2030. That is the project name. So what will happen is that a main class will be created for me, and this is the main class. However, in this case, I'm not necessarily interested in the main class. But note that if you do not have a main class, your project will have a problem when trying to run the project. So make sure that you have a main class. After that, you come here where you have the project navigator and go to where you have the package. Then you right click on the package, go to new, then new JFrame form. Select new JFrame form. JFrame forms are the ones that we use to design our graphical user interfaces in Java and Netbeans. So you can call this one maybe a summation project, or you can call it creative and call it Mathematica, and then you click finish. So once you click finish, this what happens is the window that appears. On this side over here, we have the project and the project navigation. Down here, we have another navigator that will show us the elements that we have added to this particular design tool that we have over here. Then here, we are supposed now to come and design the graphic user interface that you want to use. And we are going to use the tools on this side to design it. These tools I usually refer to as the visual objects, or you can also call them controls. And when you're dealing with Java, since Java is OOP, this interface that contains the tools is usually categorized as a class because it's a container, it has others. Then these visual objects or controls, they also belong to several packages. You have what we call the swing controls, and you have what we call the AWT packages. And you can be able to see the AWT packages down here, and the swing controls are over here. Then swing controls are further subdivided into containers, controls, and menus. Containers mainly can handle other elements inside them. Controls are the most commonly used labels, buttons, and so on. So we start by the swing containers and we pick a panel. A panel is essential because it makes us, as we are going to see in subsequent videos of this series, it makes it possible for us to be able to have a graphical user interface or an interface for a particular project that has variation in colors, in texture, and so on. It makes our graphical user interfaces to be a little bit more appealing, and we're going to see that in subsequent lectures. So just resize it to the desirable size. Then you come here, you pick a label, and you place it over there. After picking that label, you can as well pick a second label and put it over there. After that, you can go ahead and edit the text in these labels. You can see for now they are known as J-Label1. Would like to name them a name that easily relates to what we are doing. So let's call this one number one. Then you can resize it to the desired size like that. We come here and call this one number two, and we do the same. We resize it to the desired size like that. You can also align with that one. Then we give them a more strong font. So you can come here. You can come here to properties and select the font over here. So you click bold and we give it font number 18. All right. You can see we need to resize further so that it can accommodate, yes, like that. Or you can just right click like this and then you go to properties and you assign it the font that you desire. In this case, let's select bold 18. Then you click OK. Then you click close over there. Then you come and resize this one to your desired size. So you have our labels there. So let's now have the field that will capture whatever we input, and that one is known as a text field in Java. So So you come and pick a text field and put it over there. You can resize the text field to the desired size. You come and pick another text field and you put it over here. You resize it to the desired size like that. Try to ensure that they seem to be of the same size. Yeah, like that. You click on edit text, remove this default text, text field 1, and you do the same for the second one to remove that particular text. Now, before we even proceed further, there is something very important for us to understand here, that these elements that we are putting here, in programming, they require to have variable names. And by default, whenever you drag it and drop it here, they are usually assigned variable names. If it is labels, Java has a sequence that it uses. It will refer to them as JLabel1 moving forward. If it is text fields, they refer to it as JText fields, and then it will assign it a number. For example, this one is assigned JText field 1, and you can be able to see it here in this navigator, and this one is assigned JText field. However, it is important for you to know that if you are dealing with a system that has many of these, it can be very challenging for you to keep track of the one that you want to make reference to in a particular section of your program. So it is advisable that you change the variable name. So how do we change the variable name? This is how you go about it. So you click on this particular text field, then you right click, then you select which variable name, and you give it a variable name that relates to what it is doing. So you can say num1. This one do the same, is the variable name, and call this one num2. Then after that, we come and now select a button. We put it here. So once we put the button here, the aim of this button is that once we click in it, once we have filled num1 and num2 and we click on this button, it calculates the sum for us. So we come here and edit the text for the button, and you can call it click, or just call it calculate. Calculate. Let's change the font size for the button for purposes of visibility. So we give it font 18 and bold. Good. You can also change the font size for these text fields for purposes of visibility also. We give them font 18 also, but not bold. Let's just give them font 18 like that. And you can use this one here to preview the design. If you click there, you'll be able to preview a design. You can see we'll put our number 1 there, our number 2 there, then we click calculate, and then it gives us the output. So now, how do we go about programming this particular application? Java, apart from being object-oriented programming, it is also a apart from being an object-oriented programming language, it also falls under the event-driven programming paradigm, especially if you're using a graphical user interface. So in event-driven programming paradigm, the actions of a program are influenced by the actions of the users, or what is usually known as the user events. So the event here is that in this particular design, the user will input the values. Inputting is an event, and then after inputting, the calculation will only take place after the user clicks the calculate button. So our interest here is to program events such that the program will capture what the user inputs in these fields. Then then calculate them, and once they are calculated, the output is given. So that's exactly what we are going to program. So to do that, we have two options. You can either, because now we have seen that the calculate button is the one that carries the weight, so we are going to program those events in the calculate button. So you can either double click on the calculate button, or you can use the length method, which is right click, then go to events, action performed. Over here, you can also be able to see other events. There are quite a number over there. So you go to action performed. And once you go to action performed, some code will be automatically generated for you, but your interest would be here, private void j button action performed. Then you click enter. So the first thing is we declare the variables to house the two numbers. Double x is equal to. Now, something else that we need to note is that in this design that we have over here, remember you have used text fields. Therefore, the values here will be in text format, which is string data type. We need to convert them from string to a double. Do that is how we go about it. So let's click back to source. So we say double x is equal to double dot pass double like that. Then you come here and say num1 dot get text text. Then you terminate. Then you say double y is equal to double dot pass double num2 dot get text. So the first line over here will take the value or the elements that will be inputted in num1.getText, which is the first field over there, and then allocate it, convert it from a string to a double, and assign it to the variable x. The second line over here will take whatever will be inputted in num2.getText, convert it from a string to a double, and assign it to variable I. Then after that, we need to calculate the sum. So we say double sum is equal to x plus y. And after saying sum is equal to x plus y, now we need to output the sum. I want us to output the sum in a pop-up message. So we come and say J option pane dot show message dialog. Then we say this. We want to output the sum over there. So we can run our code. We just need to right click and then we say run file. And then it runs and outputs over here. So we can even minimize this Netbeans over there, and then we are left with this one. All right. Or you can even just maximize it, and then your pop-up is appearing over there. Then you can say if num1 is equal to 10, num2 maybe 15. So what is the total? The total is 25. What about where num2 maybe is 7? What is the total? The total is 17. Now, after doing that, there's a problem with that particular program. If I run it again, you realize that why is it appearing towards the top left corner rather than the center? We need to make the program to appear at the center. By default, they will always appear at the top left corner. This is so because it is expected that when you are dealing with such programs, you'll create an interface that can fill the screen. Since it's just a small program, we need to move it to the center. And to move it to the center, we just need to write a single line of code. So let's go ahead and write the line of code. So we navigate to where we have the constructor of the class. Remember, this is the class that houses all those controls, and this class is being known as Mathematica. So it contains the design, contains the visual controls, and so on. Now, for an instance of a class to be created, we need to create a constructor. So this is the constructor of class Mathematica. So we come here and say set location relative to null. Set location relative to null. So let's run it again. If we run it again, now we can see that it is appearing at the center. So we can put some numbers there to do some computations. And then maybe 56 plus 12 gives us 68. So in this particular program, we have been able to see how you can create a simple Java application that is using a G.U.I to add two numbers. And we have seen that it is not a very complicated task. And we have seen that with the Netbeans, you can be able to do this with a lot of ease, because if you're using other IDEs such as Eclipse, you would be forced to write code to design this particular G.U.I, which would have taken a lot of time. But with Netbeans, you realize that these codes are usually automatically generated for you. You can be able to see some of the automatically generated code. Let me just navigate to where we have some, like here, generated code. You can see generated code. So if you are dealing with Eclipse, you would have to write all this code. But now, since you are not dealing with Eclipse, you're using Netbeans, this one is automatically generated for you. You can see it's quite a lot. And you can come here and minimize it. You can come here and minimize it. And once you minimize it, you're left with what is relevant for you. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please continue watching the videos in this channel, and continue subscribing to our channel. Share it with your friends, like and make a comment on areas that you'd like us to work on any matter pertaining to technology. Thank you.